autumn wind is a pirate, blustering in from sea. With a rollicking song he sweeps along, swaggering boisterously. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a hooded sash, with a silver hat about his head, and a bristling black mustache. He growls as he storms the country, a villain big and bold. And the trees all shake and quiver and quake as he robs them of their gold. The autumn wind is a raider, pillaging just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first edition of the Hardcore Challenge Live. Had a little pilot episode yesterday. Just wanted to get the news out about the candidates for the VP and use it as kind of a trial run before we did the real thing tonight and actually saved this one. So, welcome. Those of you that are watching it live and those that will hopefully be watching it later if they're not on now. Looks like we got somebody watching. First off, I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Hardcore Challenge 2016 season. This is going to be our 8th season, hopefully our best season. The last couple seasons have went very smooth. Last season was almost flawless. We hardly even needed the VP and me to even step in with any issues. Everybody just understood the rules. Everybody understood how to play. Just rolled right through. It went very, very smoothly. For those of you that don't know who I am Ben Klein. I am the league commissioner, the Hardcore Challenge commissioner. Tom Mandic is our current Hardcore Challenge vice president, although the election just got kicked off last night. And if you haven't voted, go over and the poll for vice president is on the league homepage, so you can check that out and cast your vote. So I would like to just give a little quick explanation of the Hardcore Challenge, what the league is, how it came to be. Just a brief history. Most of you already know it, some of you don't, because there's a few new owners. We did have 2 owners step down and 2 new ones move in, which I actually think will strengthen the league, because 2 of the owners that left didn't really make the playoffs that often. So I don't know if it's going to be a terribly bad thing. Having some fresh blood, some guys that I know are going to be good competitors in the league. But the Hardcore Challenge morphed out of 2 leagues that I had ran. The Hardcore Challenge morphed from 2 leagues that I'd had before. It was the Raider Nation Challenge and the Iowa Challenge. They were 2 basic, 12-team leagues. After the 2008 season, I decided I wanted to just focus on one league and put all of my effort into just one league. So we started out with a 12-team format, the Hardcore Challenge in 2009. It was just a basic format, pretty vanilla, just like any other fantasy league you would have been in. And we rolled that way. Nubs Chiefs was our first champion. They're no longer in the league, but they were the first champion in the 12-team format. In 2010, we stepped up to the 20-team format, which is what we currently have today with the 4 divisions and playing the 3 rounds of playoffs, which is what we have today, which I feel was the best thing. The more owners made it more difficult, made you have to be more like an actual owner of an NFL team, which is what we all really want, is it to be as close to owning our own team as it possibly can, and to have competitive owners that play with you. The first season was a little rough. I would say we had well over at least a half turnover. We had put out applications on NFL.com and tried to make sure we were getting owners, letting them know what they were getting into, that we wanted people for the long haul, that this wasn't a short-term league, that we wanted you to stick around, we wanted you to build your team, and like teams like I'm thinking Arby's, Tom's team, who is been dominant since they joined the league in 2010. I didn't even know Tom. We just selected him through an interviewing process through NFL.com and some emails. He jumped in and he won the league in 2010 and has been dominant ever since. He's won had 6 playoff appearances, 5 division titles. 2 Super Bowl appearances, 6 playoff wins. I mean, then that was a guy we got through the league. Stinky Pinky Ben Meffley also joined the league, became later a champion in our league. You know, he was through the interview process through NFL.com too. So you know, it's an eclectic mix of owners that we have. Some my childhood friends, some people I've met through business, people through NFL.com. The entire Great White North is all Canadian owners. It's just a cool, very original league, and I'm glad you guys are all a part of it. Just to do a little breakdown of the settings for the upcoming season. I'm sure most of you are familiar with what they all are, but I know some of you aren't. We've got a couple new owners. So, you know, we do have a 3-week playoff. You know, the 4 division winners automatically get a buy into the playoffs, and the last 2 spots come from 2 wild cards spread out through the rest of the league. There are 2 first-round buys, so the number 1 and number 2 seeds will get a first-round bye in the first round of the playoffs, and in the wild card round, 2 teams get eliminated. You play the next round, and week 17 is our Super Bowl, and it's just the way it always has been. Feel if you dominate, you should be able to get a first-round bye. I mean, that's the way it is in the NFL, and that's the way we want to be. We want to mirror everything the league does. We want it to be as close to the real thing as we can make it. I guess the other key note out of the settings would be keeper lock date. Keeper lock date is on August 28th. It's a Sunday. It's a week before our draft, a week and a day before our draft, because our draft is going to be on Labor Day, and at 6 o'clock Eastern Time will be our draft. And so the keeper lock date is the week before on August 28th. That is also when the VP election ends on August 28th. So make sure if you haven't cast your vote, go to the league homepage, and the poll is up to cast your vote for that. As far as settings, I think the rest of it, waiver wires, they're going to run like they've always ran before. If you move your pick, you drop to the bottom if you use your waiver wire. If you don't use your waiver wire, you can keep rising. You can sit and hold that number 1 spot if you want. Wait for that diamond in the rough that you can think you're going to grab and change your whole season. So that's the waiver wire will work as it always typically has before. We're not going to change that. That was something we tweaked in the beginning, and that's the way it will remain. It's the way it always has been. The trade rule, which is the one rule that we always seem to, everybody tries to push the envelope on, which is the trade rule, is 48 hours. It is 48 hours from the minute that trade notification hits me and the VP's email box and said trade being processed, that timestamp, it is 48 hours to the minute later that we will process that trade. If we may process them early sometimes just because of convenience. If we know nobody's objected, it's a no-brainer of a trade. We will push it through typically a little earlier, as long as we know that the 48 hours is going to expire well before game time. Typically, the only time it has ever really come into a situation is you have a very tight window between when games end on Monday and your Thursday night games, if the players happen to be participating in that Thursday night game. That is typically the only time it has ever really been an issue. It has come back to bite people a couple times. We couldn't process their trade till after that game, which means those guys were ineligible to be played that week until the following week. So just something you got to think about there. That's pretty much all you need to know about the trade rule. 48 hours, man. 48 hours from the minute it hits our email. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's just the way it is. That's the way it's got to be. The roster positions are pretty much the same as they have been for the last several seasons since we added the Heron rule and added the defensive players. It really hasn't changed. We've got you get 1 starting quarterback, 2 starting running backs, 2 starting wide receivers, a starting tight end, a starting kicker, 1 starting defensive team, 1 flex position, offensive flex, that can be a running back, wide receiver, or tight end, You get to select one individual defensive lineman, one individual linebacker, one individual defensive back, and one flex defensive player. That finishes out your active roster. You get 6 bench spots to store your talent, cover bye weeks. You get 6 of those. But new to 2006, we're adding a injured reserve spot. Now this spot is only available to be used, has to be empty before the start of week 1. Before kickoff on week 1, this spot has to be empty on your bench. This spot can only have a player put in it if they are placed on injured reserve by the NFL and are on injured reserve in the league. Not just an injury and they're out for 6 weeks. They have to be on freaking IR or they do not go in that spot. You will be penalized. We will discuss how to penalize you, but it won't be nice if you try to ride somebody in there and slide an injury through. We will pull them right off your roster, so don't even try it. Injured reserve is only if they are on IR set by the league. Other than that, that's the only thing that's changing roster-wise. Point-wise, since we got a couple new owners, I want to run through the points because obviously in the Hardcore Challenge, due to the fact that we have 20 owners, a large roster on each team, and not the deepest pool of talent, we wanted to make sure our owners always have the most options to score points on their team. So, which is why we have a lot of bonus points and stuff. So I want to make sure that all of the new owners understand what that is and what they are. Your passing is pretty typical. You get a point for every 20 yards passing by your quarterback. Passing touchdowns are worth 6 points. Pretty much all touchdowns across the board are 6, no matter how they're scored. If they throw an interception, it is a negative 2 points. It's one of the things you do get negative points for. There are bonuses for your quarterbacks. If they throw a 300-yard game, it is a 1-point bonus. Over 400 yards, 2-point bonus. 40-yard touchdown, 1-point bonus. 50-plus yard touchdown, 2-point bonus. So there are bonuses to be had for big plays and big games for your quarterbacks, for sure. Same thing with running backs. They get a bonus point for over 40-yard rushing touchdown, 2 points for over 50-yard rushing touchdown. 100-yard game, 100 to 199 yards is 1 point, 200 plus is 2 points. There's also bonus points for that as well. Same thing with wide receivers. Over 40s for a touchdown is 1, over 50 for a touchdown is 2. They got the same bonus structure. 100 yards receiving to 199 yards receiving is a point. 200 and over is 2 points. So that's your bonuses for your offense. There's also bonuses for the kickers. Anything over 50 is worth 5 points. It's always been that way. It's a big kick. It's a game changer. And if you got a kicker that can drop those bombs, you should get the extra points for it. And that's something we've always been adamant about. So that's pretty much it on the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of the ball, just kind of want to cover this one because a lot of you guys seem like you don't really understand how the defense scores sometimes and how important certain positions are. Tackles are worth a point. Sacks are worth 2. Sacks are a big play. An interception's also worth 2 points. Forced fumbles worth 1. Recovery is worth 2 because that is a change of possession. Touchdown, any touchdown pretty much is worth 6. No matter how they score it, who scores it, they're going to get 6 points if that person's on your team. Touchdown, fumble return, blocked kick, anyway. A safety is obviously worth 2. Another nice one, if they block a kick or a punt, that's worth 2 points as well. It's a little extra way you can score. Interception return yards and fumble return yards are 1 point for every 10 yards. And you do get a bonus point for tackles for loss. So if they do get a tackle for a loss, that's a bonus point along with their tackle. 10 plus tackles is 2 points. 2 plus sacks is 2 points. If they get, for defensive backs, 3 plus passes defended is a bonus 2 points. 50-yard interception return for a touchdown is 2 points. 50-plus yard fumble return for a touchdown is 2 points. So that's kind of how the point scoring goes. We do not use fractional points here, but we do use negative points. You do something bad, you're going to be penalized. But we don't use fractional points like some other leagues. you don't score freaking half points in football. You score points, you know. You need to get to that next 10 yards. You don't get a point for going the 9. You got to get to the 10 to get that point. So, I mean, that's football. It's the way it's got to be. Did add some new rules to the cup, the hardcore cup, and how it takes place, and you know what the buy-in is and all that stuff. Everybody's obviously living that right now, but some rules that were laid down to help out with you know, the last couple seasons. We've had some sloppy transitions of funds, the cup getting sent in a timely manner. You know, I'm as much to blame for that as anybody. I'm busy. I coach youth sports and do jiu-jitsu. My kid does dang near everything in the world, and I'm a busy guy. So sometimes, you know, things sit by the doorstep for a while. Mikey T-Wall knows that because, you know, we had a package for Christmas that sat here forever. So the rules for that this season, obviously, you all know we're raising the buy-in to $50 from the $30 that it was last year. This will allow the league, what the league owners have been requesting for quite some time, which is second place money. I've always had the stance that you don't get paid to lose, and if you lost, I'm sorry. That just made the loss burn a little more as for losing. I mean, that's the way I always took it, the way I always thought it should be. But it seems to be the one thing everybody else wanted, so that was, you know, you felt like if you make it to the Super Bowl, it's a big thing to make it to the Super Bowl, you should get something back for it. So we are doing that this year. The winner of the league champion will get $700. It's $50 buy-in. League champ will get $700. The Super Bowl runner-up will get $200. The other $100 will still go towards the championship ring. The custom championship rings from Jostens, the same company that makes the Super Bowl rings. They usually take 9 to 10 weeks. Some have even taken a little longer. Not even sure if Kent's got his ring yet. I know he's got everything else, but I don't know if he's received his ring yet. So that will be how the money is divided up. The prize money will be paid out to first and second place within 14 days of the conclusion of the Super Bowl. This is a must. We got to stick to these time frames. That's pretty much me, but we got to stick to these time frames. Ring info will be given to commissioner within 14 days of conclusion of the Super Bowl, and ring order will be placed. Like I said, the ring comes directly from the factory, shipped right to the champion, and it usually takes 10 weeks. It's even sometimes taking a little longer. Number 4, the cup. This is on you owners. The cup will be returned to the league commissioner by 7/1. 7/1. July 1st of the year after you win the Super Bowl. You win the Super Bowl, you get to keep it through the whole next season because you're the defending champ. Somebody else has their Super Bowl in January. They win the cup. You get to hold on to it until 7/1, until your whole season's done, through your off season. 7/1, I have to have the trophy back in my hands. That means I can have the plaque changed, I can do the additions that I want to do to it, and the most important thing, make sure it is packed carefully. Pay attention to how I send it to you. I try to pack it so it's suspended in there and doesn't get broken. So that's probably the most important thing. We want to make sure, you know, certain that the champ gets their proper amount of time with the cup and cup ownership. I mean, it's a big thing to win it. We got a lot of tough competitors. It's not an easy thing, so we want to make sure you get the most amount of time. And obviously, you got to leave your mark on it, put whatever you want to do to it, or send what you want to have added to it back with it, and I can put it on there. But every owner gets to leave their mark on it. Got a picture of Kent with the trophy, which I'll be posting here in the near future. And he gets to still leave his mark on it since he's our new champion, Bison Broncos. So that's pretty much the rules for the most part, and the breakdown of scoring. Obviously, the VP election is going on right now, and that is we've got our incumbent Tom running for vice president, and as well as Matt Beaver Street Roar, also back-to-back former vice president. We have Stinky Pinky Ben Meffley also running, who's ran before and's come very close to winning in previous years. And we also have a newcomer, the first time running for vice president, J.W. Hauser, former champion Donkey Punch. He's thrown his hat into the ring as well. Next week on the show, if any of the VP would like to call in, we'll put you on speaker, and I'll give you the forum for a minute, and you can pitch your case as to why you think you should be the league vice president. I'll offer it up to all four of the candidates. So I don't want to play any favorites. Let me know if you want to do it, and give you my number. You can call in. We'll put you on speaker, and you can be right on here and see if pitching your case helps you get any votes or not. So if you want to hold off on casting your votes till next week, and you can hear what these guys got to say, you can. Don't know if any of them would even commit to coming on and speaking, but they may want to. Did want to offer them the opportunity. Pretty much, I just want to give you a quick breakdown, I guess, of how this is going to work every Tuesday, which obviously Tuesdays after our weekends on Monday. Tuesday morning we all wake up and see how the standings are, who won, who lost, how points all shook out, see if there's any last minute changes. Tuesday night we'll have the breakdown of what happened the week before. We'll basically just break down like I've always done before, in story, but we'll be doing live. Do a breakdown. It also gives anybody the opportunity to obviously comment on here. We can go back and forth in live time, and get issues on the table immediately. We can have the VP and myself. If there's issues, we can get the message during the day, and we can make sure we're available on here and get anything hashed out right after the week's over. So I think it's important to have it on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we'll just have a small little show. Probably won't be as long. I mean, typically they're not going to be very long anyway. This one's obviously a little long because it's the first one. But on Wednesdays we'll have the game of the week breakdown. We'll highlight the game of the week, what the biggest game in the hardcore challenge is for that week, and we'll break it down. And that's all that Wednesday night will be focused on. And then we can also like I say, it just gives you one more night of a live forum. If you have a question, an issue, you can hit me up. You can get it resolved here right in live time if you need to. So there's 2 nights a week. We'll all be dedicated right here at 10 o'clock. If anybody needs to hash anything out, we can do it in short order. Other than that, like I said, we've got a couple new owners. Willie Weems, the 5-3 Bandits, joining the Elite East, and looks like Brian Watson has chosen his name for the Wild West. Yet to have a logo yet, as Tame Terrace doesn't have a logo yet either. You guys got to fix that. But it appears his team name is King Salami, so he fits right in Stinky Pinky's division, it sounds like. So we got Stinky Pinky, King Salami, and Donkey Punch. Interesting division we got going on in the Wild West. So other than that, gentlemen and lady, here we go. 2016 Hardcore Challenge. See you here every week, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And I'll probably occasionally pop in with a little blurb every once in a while, just for something I want to highlight here and there. But let's do this. Let's have a great season. Let's kick it off with an awesome draft. Hope everybody can make it. Get out there and cast your VP vote. Like I said, next week VPs, if you want to use the forum, I offer it up to you. Let me know ahead of time, and we'll get you on. Other than that, I guess that's it. We'll close out of here. Good luck to everybody. Wish you the best. And good luck. Game on.